to let people know what they're getting into. I apologize in advance for offending you, because you're going to listen to this and giggle at non sequiturs about Hitler and abortion and poverty, and you'll feel superior to all the uptight, easily offended people who need to learn how to take a fucking joke. But then somewhere in here you'll hear one random thing that you're sensitive about, and everyone else will think that it is hysterical, but you will think, oh, that is way over the line. I apologize for that one thing. Honestly, I don't know what I was thinking. Alright, so the chapter that I'm going to read, it's so loud. Does it seem loud? It's because I'm right next to the speaker. Duh. Good job, Jenny. Here, let me move over here. Oh, that's so much better. Oh, okay. My ears were being blown out by me. The chapter that I'm going to read is called The Psychopath on the Other Side of the Bathroom Door. So one of my favorites because I get to curse a lot, loudly. So if you have children, I'm sorry. A few weeks ago, my friend Lotta told me that her doctor told her that her antidepressants weren't working because she had too many toxins in her body and that she needed to use a colon cleanse to flush everything out of her system. It sounded completely insane, and I told her that, but then she mentioned that when she took the colon cleanse, she lost 3 pounds that very day, and I was immediately in. I convinced myself that I owed it to my family to have my crazy pills work properly, but really I just wanted to lose 3 pounds without working out, and that whole last sentence kind of proves why I need to be on crazy pills. So I went to the grocery store, but I couldn't find the colon cleanse. I considered asking the pharmacist, but as I was waiting in line, I had a conversation in my head that went a little something like this.
Bless you.
Yes, I'd like some colon cleanse. I've never heard of that, said the pharmacist in my head. Sounds like something deviants use. No, it's actually something that cleans out your colon so that your antidepressants work better. I think you're using your antidepressants wrong. They go in your mouth. You, sir, are surprisingly unhelpful for a healthcare worker. I'm calling the police, you deviant. And I'm not sure why I jumped right to the pharmacist calling the police, but once the thought was in my head, it was there and it was stuck, so I panicked a little when the pharmacist asked what I actually needed. I paused awkwardly, and then I asked where the reading glasses were, and he said that they didn't carry reading glasses, which is weird because most pharmacies do, and I always like to try them on and pretend that I'm the naughty librarian. So instead of the colon cleanse, I decided that I would just take a bunch of X-Lax because I figured next best thing, right? I bought the extra strength stuff because it was the same price as the regular strength, and so technically it was like I was saving money. And I thought it would help my argument later when my husband Victor demanded to know why I had bought $20 worth of unnecessary laxatives. Although it turns out later that he didn't really care about cost effectiveness because he hates being economically feasible or just wants me to be fat or something. I already knew he'd be all judgy about the whole thing because he was also very unsupportive when I wanted to buy those Chinese foot pad things that stick to the bottom of your feet while you sleep and that suck out all your toxins out of your feet. He claimed that the Chinese foot pad thing was a scam, but I think it's just because he wants me to suffer, or maybe that he's racist. And then when I called him racist, he got all mad and screamy, and I was all, I don't even know what I'm saying, those are the toxins talking. But he still wouldn't let me buy them. And this is exactly why I waited until the week that he left for a business trip to New York to actually do the cleanse. I took 2 chocolate squares of X-Lax that night, but then I noticed that the directions said that it would bring gentle results. And I figured that a good colon cleansing shouldn't be gentle at all, so I took 3 more tabs.
Oh my gosh!
And they were chocolatey and delicious, and I was kind of hungry, so I ate another one. And then, nothing happened at all. So the next morning, I took 2 more, because at this point I thought that there was something wrong with me and that I had some kind of freakishly high laxative tolerance. And then I went to Starbucks and picked up a giant Frappuccino. Yeah, so you guys get it, I didn't. No one told me that coffee is a laxative. I know it now. So I drove back to my home, drinking my Frappuccino, and then my intestines exploded. I mean, they didn't literally explode, obviously, but it totally felt that way. And at first I was all, okay, pain is good, feel the burn. But then I realized that this was not like yoga and that I had, in fact, made a horrible, horrible mistake. I'm not going to get graphic, but it basically felt like my legs had melted and an elephant crawled inside of my stomach and was clawing his way out. And the elephant had claws, apparently. And his nose was made of snakes. Since Victor was in New York and my daughter Haley was in school, I had the whole house to myself, which is good, because honestly there would have been no way to maintain the sensual mystery of womanhood had anyone heard the noises coming from that bathroom. At a certain point I started worrying that I might be ODing. I wasn't sure what ODing on laxatives actually looked like, but I was fairly certain it would be messy and that you'd probably shit out your entire colon. I'm not sure if this is even actually medically possible, and I thought about calling Lotta to ask her whether she felt like she was shitting out her colon when she was doing her cleanse, but I wasn't sure I could talk without screaming, and also I didn't have her phone number. And so I just sat there thinking that basically this would be the most horrible way to die, because no matter what I had accomplished in my life, it would always be overshadowed by, and then she died on the toilet from pooping out her own lower intestine. Like if it had happened to Thomas Edison, that would totally be the first thing on his Wikipedia entry. It would be all Thomas Edison, who pooped out his own colon, made a variety of inventions and changed the way we live today. Did we mention he pooped out his own colon? Because he totally did. Thomas Edison pooped out his own colon. Honestly, we can't stress this enough. It was about this time that I decided that I needed to take action, so I found some Pepto Bismol and took a full dose. I considered taking more, but at this point I was concerned that I might have to call 911 for help. And I didn't want to have to explain why I had taken 3 times the recommended amount of laxatives and 3 times the recommended amount of anti-diarrheal medicine, because even to me that sounded like some sort of poorly planned suicide attempt. Taking just 1 dose of the anti-diarrheal seemed somewhat rational comparatively. Surely, I thought to myself, this will make me seem much more credible and less likely to be put on suicide watch. Of course, the Pepto Bismol was no match for the raw power of the X-Lax and was much like wearing shin guards in the middle of a tornado. Except even less effective, because at least with shin guards, when they found your body later, at least you could wear a skirt in your coffin, unless you got your legs ripped off entirely, which is totally possible. But the Pepto Bismol didn't do anything at all except turn my tongue black. Interesting side note here, when I wrote this, I thought that everyone, when you took your Pepto Bismol, that it turns your tongue black. Turns out that's only like 1 in 6 people that happens to. So like 1 in 6 people is like, hell yeah, and everybody else is like, what is she talking about? So, and the reason I know this is because Pepto Bismol contacted me, and they were not pleased. It crossed my mind that maybe eating a bunch of cheese might help. It's organic. It's homeopathic. Because I once went to school with a girl who ate too much cheese and got so constipated she had to go to the hospital to get the poop removed by a doctor. And after I heard that, I could never really look at her in the same way, and I often wondered whether she got to keep the poop that they removed, much like when you get to keep your tonsils. And then I remembered that I didn't even have any cheese in the house, and that even if I did, it wouldn't matter because I couldn't leave the toilet long enough to get it. And that is when I heard the noise at the bathroom door. It sounded like someone leaning against the door and tapping it lightly with his knuckles. And I thought, oh my God, I didn't lock the bathroom door. And then I thought, wait, why would I even need to lock the bathroom door since I'm the only one home? My initial thought was that it was a murderer or a rapist, and it was quickly followed up by the thought that if it was a rapist, he was going to be terribly disappointed. Then I heard the possible rapist again, and I coughed because I thought maybe it was a burglar who just didn't realize I was at home. I hoped that the coughing would give him a hint that he needed to leave, although technically the noises coming from that bathroom were probably much more intimidating than coughing. But I was trying to be polite because I'm a lady. And then someone slid a note under the door. And I just stared at it because seriously, what the fuck? It was so baffling, I couldn't even get scared. I tried to slide my foot over to reach the note, which was a small white slip of paper, but I couldn't reach it, and so I yelled weakly, "Hello? Did you just pass me a note?" But no one answered. And then I started to get freaked out, and I silently thanked God that I had thought to bring the phone into the bathroom just in case I needed a call to report the laxative overdose. I picked up the phone to call the police, but then I considered how it would sound when I told them that I was calling from inside my bathroom, where I had OD'd on laxatives, and that a possible rapist was quietly passing me notes under the bathroom door. And then I thought it would be really weird if the note said something like, "Do you like me? Circle yes or no." And I probably would have laughed too if it weren't for the laxative rapist combo bearing down on me. Then another note came slowly peeking out from under the door, and I realized that this wasn't a note at all. It was actually the wrapper from a Band-Aid. And that's when I realized that I was probably dealing with a psychopath, because why would anyone pass me a Band-Aid wrapper unless they were completely insane? So I yelled, "I'm calling the police, and I have diarrhea from AIDS," because I thought that would discourage a rapist. I wasn't even sure if AIDS caused diarrhea, but I figured it probably did. And then it got really quiet, and suddenly the Band-Aid wrapper was violently ripped back from under the door, and I was all, "What the hell?" Then it shot back into the bathroom door again, but this time I could see that it was being pushed under the door by a fucking cat paw. And that's when I realized that the cat had knocked over my purse and was just shoving receipts and assorted purse flotsam under the door. That I murdered my cat, but only in my mind. It occurred to me that I should write this all down, but I didn't have anything to write on except for the paper that the cat had pushed under the door, and so I yelled, "Posey, push the paper further!" But he didn't, because he's an asshole. And also he's a cat, so he doesn't speak English. So instead I wrote this all on toilet paper with lipstick, but just the keywords and not the whole thing, because that would be ridiculous. And then I said a little prayer, thanking God for saving me from being assaulted, and also for not making me have to explain to the ambulance drivers that I had accidentally mistaken my cat for a rapist after purposely overdosing on laxatives in order to make my antidepressants work better. Mainly because that's the kind of story that gets told over and over again to the new ambulance crew recruits. But then I remembered that girl from high school who had to have the poop bubble removed, and then I thought maybe in comparison my story wasn't really so weird after all. Except when Victor came home, I told him all about it, because how could you not tell that story? And he got all testy about the laxatives and implied that I, quote, couldn't be trusted at home unsupervised. And I'm all, glass half full, asshole, I didn't get raped. And he shouted back, you were never in danger of being raped. But I think he just said that to hurt my feelings. And so I retorted, oh, I am always in danger of being raped, thank you very much. And he was all, I'm not questioning your rape ability. I'm just saying I can't go away for 2 days without you ODing on laxatives. And that's when I made a mental note that I would never tell him about ODing on anything ever again. And also that I should probably make friends with ambulance drivers, because I bet they have some pretty kick-ass stories. My heart. All right, it's pounding away. Imagine what it would be like without the drugs. Yay for drugs! Except the drugs are probably like placebo. She probably gave me a bunch of sugar pills. It's like a little Dumbo feather. I'm like, woohoo, doctor, it worked. And then she'll be like, haha, never trust me again. So we did the reading, and next would be Q&A. If you